Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IAS English, your favorite channel, and I am your educator Praveen Mishra. And today we are going to discuss about a very interesting mental imbalance or a type of a mental disturbance. Okay, not the illness basically, but the disturbance that you can see on your screens, that is about the Stockholm syndrome, right? So what is this Stockholm syndrome? Let me give you the reference first of all before we start the detailed discussion. You have seen that Operation Sindhu, not Sindoor, Operation Sindhu has been initiated by our government, and around 110 Indian students, okay, those who were stuck in Iran, the war-ridden Iran, they have been returned back. They have been taken back by the Indian government. Okay, so the evacuation plan was there. Okay, so our commercial flights, they landed in Iran. A ceasefire was established for some particular hours, okay, so that the flights could land and they could take off as well, and the Indian students, they could return back to their homeland, to their soil, safe and sound. So but what we have experienced, interviews, what they have represented, that those Indian students, those who have returned from Iran back to India safe and sound, they were having bit like what we say annoyance or type of a distrust on the Indian government itself, that they were not provided with adequate facilities, adequate supplies. Well, what is the reality? We don't know. But this is what the statements from those students, okay, those who were stuck in Iran, has come forward, that they were provided not with some good amount of facilities, and the amenities were not provided to them at the immediate level, and they had to suffer a lot. But on the very contrary, they were providing some good statements, some good feedback to the Iranian authorities, to the Azerbaijan authorities, to other Turkish authorities on the other side as well, that those people were more good. Okay, those people were more better. They provided us more support and such kind of things, right? So why is it happening? It's like, Indian people, Indian students stuck in Iran, they appealed to the government, and the government took the very cognizant and a very swift action as well. But now they are having grudges against the government that facilities were not proper enough, but they are providing, some good statements, some good feedback to those because of whom these Indian students were troubled. So this is what is known as Stockholm syndrome. So now let's talk about the feature of the Stockholm syndrome, as you can see on your screen. So it is a psychological response. Remember, it is not a disease or an illness. It's just a type of a disbalance or imbalance, in the cerebral hemisphere that might happen. Okay, so it is what? A psychological response where a person develops a positive emotional bond. Okay, positive emotional bond with whom? With their abusers or captors, despite the abuse or despite the captivity. So it is type of a coping mechanism. Okay, what is it? A coping mechanism that the human brain generates, where the victim may develop some sort of sympathy or empathy or kind of an attachment, okay, or even may be the affection for the person holding them against their will. Right. So basically, it originated in the year 1973, okay, in Stockholm. Right. So from where this name came, that is the Stockholm syndrome. So there was a bank, and some robbers, some dacoits, basically, they entered inside the bank, okay, and they made many of the normal citizens as their captives, as their hostages for around 3 days, 3 to 4 days. These people, okay, as you can see these images, okay, this is about those victims, the hostages, those who have been now freed by the abusers, okay. But later on, these people, they were, becoming more sympathetic, more empathetic towards the hostage, towards the people, those who took them as captive, as hostages. That means their captors, the one who abused them. Right. So remember, it is not a recognized mental disorder, but a coping mechanism used to survive traumatic situations. And the term originated exactly in the year 1973, where during a bank robbery in Stockholm, Germany, okay, where hostages formed an emotional bond with their captors. Right. Okay. Now, when we talk about the key characteristics, what we have been experiencing from the students, those who have been returning from Iran, okay, and providing this positive feedback towards the Iranian and the other authorities, right? So the key characteristics: victims may develop sympathy and attachment, okay. Then apart from that, they may distrust or even resent law enforcement agencies. Like, what students say have been providing the answer that no, we do not have trust on the Indian government, right? Then apart from that, victims may actively defend or even justify the actions of their abuser, right? So, this is what we have been experiencing as well. Then finally, a strong emotional bond can develop between the victim and the abuser, right? So as you can see, this is a very perfect representation. As you can see, the victim here, though a bit blurred image, but still you can see the victim is kind of smiling. Okay, obviously this is not the real picture. This is just clicked. Okay, this is clicked out of the script. But this is the actual representation. That even when you are taken as hostage, even when you are taken as captive, you are happy, right? And apart from that, the another important considerations that we need to mark here from your prelims perspective specifically, that is, it is not a formal diagnosis. Stockholm Syndrome is not an officially recognized mental disorder. First thing. Second thing, as you can see, not universal as well. It doesn't happen to every hostage or abuse victim, not mandatorily, right? And finally, complex phenomenon, as in the reason for the developing Stockholm syndrome, they are quite complex, okay, the reasons, and they're not fully understood yet. So we are not yet, totally aware that why do we generate Stockholm syndrome. And the movies, which have played a very crucial role in promoting this Stockholm syndrome thing. Okay, so as you know, there are two Hollywood movies, as in we have got the Beauty and the Beast, and we have got the Money Heist as well. So if you are someone very much, keen in watching the series or something like that, so you might have watched at least these two, right? So in that you have seen that how the hostages or the victims, they created an emotional bond, a sympathetic behavior towards their abusers, towards their kidnappers only. And so what we have seen in the movie Highway, right? So what we have seen in this movie, that the girl who got kidnapped, okay, and she developed a emotional or affectional bond towards her kidnappers only, right? So these are the perfect representation of the syndrome that is known as a Stockholm syndrome. Okay, guys. So remember, please do not be very much be critical of those Iranians, of those students those have been evacuated from Iran. Okay, and their evacuation basically is done on the grounds of nationalism only. Yes, those students, they faced a lot of troubles in last 1 week and something. So because of which they are bit of dissented, because of which they are bit irritated as well. So yes, there is a mental disbalance, okay, not an illness, not a disease, just an imbalance. It happens, okay, out of frustration. And they have been sympathetic towards Iran and Azerbaijan, specifically because that Stockholm syndrome thing. So the references what we can have, the Highway movie, the Money Heist, and the series of Money Heist, as well as the Beauty and the Beast. Okay, guys, so this is it with regard to this session. But before leaving, do not forget to subscribe to the StudyIQ IAS English channel, as you know the importance of the channel very well, providing you all detailed information that is needed for you to crack UPSC CSE. And apart from that, if you wish to connect with me, you can connect on my Telegram channel, okay, where I will provide you all the notes and PDFs of all of my sessions. Okay, so it is named as a study_with_Praveen. And you can ping me on my Instagram channel as well, okay, for any doubts, for any discussion. You can just connect with me here. That is known as Praveen Mishra _2107. Okay, guys, so you can connect with me anywhere you want. And apart from that, remember, 23rd of June, if you are an aspirant for 2026 batch. So remember, Pratigya 2026 batch is commencing from 23rd of June. Remember, it will be the morning batch, and hence the class timings will be 8 a.m. onwards, right? And if you are a candidate aspiring for 2027 batch, right? So we have got the same Pratigya evening batch. That means the classes shall commence from 6 p.m. onwards. Okay, so what is the difference? Pratigya, okay, morning batch, it is for 2026, okay, and the subscription fee for it is 30,999 rupees only. What you need is a promo code as in PRV Live. Just use this code and you will get the maximum discount. As of now, it is running 30,999 only. And for 2027 batch, okay, same features course, as in 18 sets of printed books, 1000 plus hours of live classes. We have got the mains residential program, interview guidance program. We have got the prelims test series. We have got the mains test series, all under one subscription. Okay, that is Pratigya. So it is common for 2026 as well as 2027. Just the prices are different. Okay, for 2027, the present price after you use the code, that is PRV Live in bolds and capitals. Okay, it shall be 34,999. And what is the batch date, commencement date? It is 27th of June. Class timing 6 p.m. onwards, that is evening. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys have subscribed. If not, then please do subscribe it as at the earliest possible time, because in next 2 days we'll be having the Pratigya 2026 batch, and in next 6 days we'll be having Pratigya 2027 batch. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining. See you soon in the next session. Bye bye, take care, keep studying well, and yes, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.